Hello, and welcome to the Casino Tears podcast. I'm one of your hosts, 10 Ton is number one, and joining me as my co-host is the one and only Ed Robinson from Roll to Win Craps. If you want more info on our show, please visit our page at casinotears.com. On this week's show, we discuss practice, dice manufacturing, precision shooting, 10-4 good buddy. We also touch on super progressions and power regressions, repeater lammers, Flip Wilson, curmudgeons, and the whiskey that Ed's afraid to buy. Hey Ed, you like that? You like this neon light I got in the back? Studio upgrade, man. I brought that back from LA with me.
I don't. I mean, I like your neon light. I hate that soldier you got standing up there with a knight's helmet on.
Well, one day I'll get a fat head of the Casino Tears logo or something like that.
You need a fat head of meat.
I should make one. I'll try to make some custom, but right now it's the Vegas Golden Knights.
All right. Studio upgrade with a blue neon light.
So Ed, it's good seeing you, man. It's been a minute.
It's been 2 or 3 weeks, probably.
This recording, I'm posting this next Tuesday so that we can be sort of current.
Which episode will this be?
And this is going to be 25, dude.
I'll drink to 25, dude.
I will too. I've got Suja, organic, raspberry lemon with green tea and lion's mane. Dude, this has got lion's mane. That's a mushroom, you know that?
No, I don't know. We talked about mushrooms before. What do you want to talk about first? Because if we get off on the long topic.
Two topics that I had. Man, I'm loving this blue light.
Are you looking
dude.
at yourself in the damn
blue
TV
light
screen?
Looks, yeah, I am. I can't stop because this blue light is amazing.
I need a blue light?
I think your studio setup has its own like charm. All right, so listen, today's hot topic. I've been having some back channeling with Dr. No.
Yeah.
Turns out Dr. No actually has a great sense of humor.
Some people would call it that.
I call it a great sense of humor. So I was able to ask him.
Dr. No actually had a cat.
Yeah, Dr. No had a cat, but
Dr. N.O. had a cat.
Yeah, Dr. N.O. had a cat.
Got
Dr.
a
K.N.O.W. has a little dog. The dog's name is Happy Dude.
Happy Dude?
That's a good name for a dog.
Oh,
it's Happy,
his name is Happy
without the dude. All right, so Ed, he brought up something which I was curious about, if you remember, specifically his mention of precision shooting. Remember?
Before I go any further, I want to say this.
Go ahead.
I am not Tony Randall. I am Jack Klugman. You and I already had that discussion.
Oh, in The Odd Couple? Dude.
I know he said that, but you and I already had that discussion months before, and I had agreed that I was Jack Klugman.
Yeah, of course, dude. You are Jack Klugman. I'll be the Tony Randall. But so, dude, all right, listen, check it out. Dr. No is funny. And by the way, so his meme game and his GIF game are on point. I can always respect that. Do you know what a meme and a GIF are? You do. You probably.
I know what a meme is.
A meme is like a picture that you send. You know, that's funny. A GIF is actually just like an animated meme.
I know what that is too.
Yeah, you know what they are. First off, let's talk about Dr. No. Precision shooting. And I asked him if I could read what he wrote. So here it is, okay? And then I'll let you comment.
If you insist.
All right. My thoughts on precision shooting are this. I am not one, but in my 20 plus years, I have seen two that I would classify as precision shooters. These were dice setters who would call a number and throw it on demand. I recently played alongside a player who did this 3 out of 4 times during a 39 roll hand. It was the most incredible dice control that I have ever seen, as all he threw were 5s, 6s, and 9s. Most people are dice influencers, which means they have the ability to not throw a 7. However, the majority are still random rollers. You have to look at the statistics and have a short game. If you can't make money on 5 rolls or less, then long term you will be a loser. But that's just my opinion. He continues, another example of precision shooting is this. You set the dice 6, 5, 5, 6, and you throw expecting field numbers. If you can throw 70% field numbers, then you are a precision shooter. You can also see certain people play with precision shooting on their come out game by setting for horn numbers and trying for horn numbers. It's very uncommon, but a precision shooter will only bet when 2 or 3 numbers because that is what they are expecting to throw. Okay. thoughts on that, because I've been around only one person one time that I was blown away by when they set for a number, threw it, but even in midair called it. And I was amazed. I've done it a couple times, but I wouldn't call myself a precision shooter. Maybe it was just luck. I'm going to go for this yo or this 3. You set for it and you hit it. Ed, thoughts?
All right. Let me say this. The 6556 is my come out set. I use that every time I bet the world bet. Why do I bet that? Because I'm shooting for horn numbers. Have I talked about my come out game over the last 6 months, the last 24 and a half episodes, this being the 25th? Have I ever talked about my come out game and whether it was good or whether it was bad or whether it was working? Do you recall?
Yes, I do. I'm very aware.
And what did I say? What did I say?
I don't know. I just know that you play the world.
I said my come out game this year has been better than it's been in a long time. And I am either getting, you're a single pitch away from a 6-1-1-6. You're a single pitch away from a 2-5 or a 5-2. So if you throw a 7, you just keep pressing the world bet. I keep saying that. I keep saying that. I keep saying that. Now, I don't care whether he calls me a precision shooter or not. I could give a flip less. But what I'm saying is, I don't care whether you call me a precision shooter, whether you call me a DI, or whether you call me a random thrower. I don't care, because I don't listen to anybody but my inner self when I'm trying to throw those numbers.
Right.
Okay. And as far as betting 2 or 3 numbers, spot on. I do that all the time. I only bet you only really want to bet the numbers you expect to throw. You might bet 4 numbers and then reduce to 3. You might bet 4 numbers and hit 3 of them so many times you don't even care about the 4th number sitting out there that might hit, but you don't press it.
Don't you remember? Yep. And I was asking Bo this too. How would you define precision shooter? That's why I brought this up, because he does define this. If you can throw 70% field numbers, then you are a precision shooter.
I think you need to throw more than that to be classified as a precision shooter, to be quite frankly.
I almost would agree with you on that.
I mean, that's only 20% better than 50-50.
Yeah, and that's 30% less than 100.
But at the same time, there's only one way to roll aces. There's only one way to roll a 12, 2 ways to roll a 3, and 2 ways to roll an 11. So that's what you're shooting for. That's 6. That's the same number as a 7.
Yeah.
All right. But in that set, that 6-5-5-6, you've also got 2 7s. So, I only use that set on the come out because I'm shooting for horn numbers on the come out. I don't care if I roll a 7 if I'm betting the world bet, because it's a push.
I think that this is a very generous percentage for the definition of a precision shooter, which I now have. So would you you kind of would agree?
I'm not talking about playing the field. I'm talking about playing the come out game. I think it's a little bit silly to play the field, throw that particular set and bet the field. I can't even think of a reason why I would ever do that. It would never happen with me. I don't mind throwing field numbers, and I will bet field on myself, but I'm not going to throw it with that set. I've got other sets that'll throw field numbers. I don't need one that's a single pitch away from a 7 to end my hand. I don't want to end my hand, right? So, and you've got to learn whether or not in that particular hand and or session, am I single pitching or am I double pitching? If I'm double pitching, I am, that's a different game than if I'm always single pitching, because I single pitch a lot. All right. So I'm not going to throw very often a set that gives me a single pitch 7. Personally, I don't care what anybody else does.
By the way, Ed, Dr. No also mentioned that you are what did he say? Dig deep enough, you find a
drop. You got to dig about 300 feet deep in that well, and you'll find one drop of wisdom.
Yeah, but sometimes all you need is like one drop, dude.
I don't consider myself to have any wisdom.
I'll tell you what, dude, you've been around long enough. Hopefully you got some wisdom. You're on this podcast.
I'm just a dumbass from Alabama that plays craps.
Yeah, Republic of Alabama. But hey, listen, you want to hear about a drop, a very strong one drop? So when I was sick.
Yeah, and I'm going to congratulate you from coming back from LA and not being sick this time. It's the first time ever that I've known you, that you came back from LA and didn't get sick.
All right, so check it out. I was so sick, it just was not going away that I tried this home remedy of oregano oil. I bought oregano oil because I heard, listen, that stuff is so strong, Ed, that you put that in like water. I mean, it is so strong. I put like 4 drops and it was very, very like, I mean, it was powerful, dude.
Did you get that at Whole Foods?
No, I ordered it on Amazon, but I'm sure you could get it at Whole Foods. That's a strong, strong home remedy. And honestly, 1 drop will like
Of
in a cup. It's surprising how strong it is. So, cup of water. I put some hot water and some honey in it. And then I went to the steam room. And honestly, I got better from all 3 of those things. That's a good example of 1 drop. That's all you need. And you know what, dude? Sometimes all you need is 1 drop of your old dice wisdom, dude. You're the dice whisperer.
well,
Come on.
thank you. And I really do. Honestly, I know I'm acting a little bit aggravated, but I've been waiting on your ass for 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. I'm the cause of of already agitating someone who's. He also said that you're a curmudgeon.
I am a
That's
curmudgeon.
a great word, dude.
That goes right along with what Justice Jen called me.
Yeah, because he was referencing
Grumpy.
Justice Jen. What
Grumpy
grumpy?
Ed. He called me a curmudgeon.
Yeah, I think that's even a better. That's a great word too. I don't know, man. Dr. No, listen, man, I'm getting him. Dr. No lives in like the Crab Key
Yeah,
Island.
that's where the Crab Key Island is, where his little secret hideout is. Down.
Dr. Julius No, dude, that's his name. I did some research. So
Good for you.
I'm making him a license. Dude, I'm wearing this license right now, my license, because I love wearing it around.
Mine's hanging on the wall over there.
So anyway, I gotta get his address. If he'll give me the address to his lair,
It's gonna be
I'm gonna send
Dr.
him
No
one.
at 777 Craps Highway, whatever that freaking island was.
Dude, it'll be awesome. So, dude, he also said this.
Go ahead.
The interesting thing is if you truly believe that dice influencing is possible, then the next question should be, how does
Easy.
that influence your betting? Because if you knew that 4 box numbers were guaranteed to come up before 7 versus the possibility of 6 box numbers coming up, but a 7 could come up at any time, that affect how you bet.
That's kind of common sense, I thought. It's like betting 3 numbers that you expect to hit. I've always said that. You don't bet. I've always said you bet what you expect to hit. If you're not hitting what you expect, then you adapt. All right. So if I'm expecting 9s and I'm hitting 5s, I don't really care. I just got to adapt to hit the 5s with that particular toss at that particular time.
Listen, Dr. No, I love you, man. I don't know, Ed.
I'm a curmudgeon.
You're a curmudgeon. You'll get there. Dr. No.
I'm Dr.
Dr. Smith, Lost in Space. You're the.
I'm Jack Klugman.
I don't know which one is Abbott and which one
I'm
is
probably
Costello.
which one was the skinny one?
In what? Abbott and Costello?
I don't want to be the short fat guy.
I don't know. I think there's Bud Abbott and Luke Costello. Dude, I don't eat enough pasta.
You're the short, skinny guy.
Short, fat one.
You can't grow anymore.
I'll work on it. All right.
You're as tall as you're ever going to get.
No.
Right?
Yep.
Who cares? You've got the mustache. I've got a mustache. I think both of them had a mustache. We're Abbott and Costello.
I don't think either of them had a mustache.
I'm lost in black and white TV right now.
But also, he also sent a picture of which was funny of Crockett and Tubbs.
I did not
from
see
Miami
that.
Vice.
I'm Crockett.
Yeah, dude. I guess
Crockett.
You would be the.
I've got a white. I have got.
You would be the Don Johnson.
I have got a white sports coat.
Plus, you're whiter than I am.
Well, yeah, because I don't get out in the sun. You go and sit on the roof, checking out the babes. I'm always in an office.
That's true.
And I'm old, and I don't need skin cancer anymore.
Yeah.
Ed the curmudgeon.
Curmudgeon. Oh my God.
Is that my new handle?
No, I still think you're the dice whisperer, but I think you might qualify as a precision shooter.
He said no.
According to those stats.
I will leave it at that. Because I can 7 out as quick as anybody. I can PSO as quick as anybody.
Yeah,
I PSO'd. He kind of wanted to know how many PSOs we had in Brownwater Bash. I know I PSO'd my last morning.
Yeah. But you also kicked off your private table with a hot roll. Again, everyone's going to have those.
So I might have thrown 2. I think I threw 2. I know I threw 1, maybe 2 for the whole weekend.
You know who I think at one point, I don't know if this stat is still relevant because I stopped following baseball a long time ago. It's officially the most boring sport to me. Who had the most strikeouts? It was Reggie. Reggie Jackson, and he also had the most homers at one point.
But he needed new glasses. If he'd had good glasses,
Homers and strikeouts.
he wouldn't have struck out as much.
I was in the stands at Yankee Stadium when Reggie was going for his 400th home run. I remember because they were throwing Reggie bars on the field.
How far back do you want me to go on baseball?
Oh, dude, listen, I remember my dad let me stay up late when Hank Aaron was hitting that like record breaking home
How
run.
many times did you see Hank Aaron?
I never
person?
saw Hank Aaron in person. How many times have you?
Dozens. Yeah.
Really? What you shop at the local grocery store there?
We used to go to the Braves games all the time, dude. I was in the stands when he hit number 600.
Braves had pretty sweet uniforms back then.
Yeah, they weren't so politically correct back then. They had this little Indian guy, had the Indian teepee out in left field. And before every game, this Indian chief,
Yeah.
you want to know his name?
All right. Tell me his name. All right. What's his name? Do you even remember?
Of course I remember.
What is it?
Chief Nakahoma.
No way. Really?
Yeah, that was his name. Chief Nakahoma. He would come out and he would do a little dance around the pitcher's mound. And then he would take off running like a lightning bolt to his teepee. And he'd sit out there.
Where was the teepee? In center field?
No, it was outside the left field stand, over the fence on the left field.
Oh,
And it was up on a
sweet.
platform so you could see the thing. And then he'd have like a little smoke shit coming out from the top of it and all this stuff.
Smoking a peace pipe.
Yeah, he'd come out and beat his drum and all kind of stuff. He was always putting on a show.
Yeah, I guess those days are long gone, man. You got to watch your step.
Yeah, I was a big Hank Aaron fan. I got his autograph actually.
Oh, really? That's cool. Hank Aaron was pretty sweet, man. I liked Reggie.
I wasn't a
I liked Reggie.
fan.
That documentary, you should watch that. It came out like 2 years ago. It was great, dude.
But you've already said it was officially the most boring sport ever. I don't even care about baseball anymore. I don't.
Now it is. When I was a little kid, I used to love it.
I quit paying attention to it when they went on strike. That was a long time ago.
So, Dr. No,
We love you. We love you, Dr. No. We love you, Dr. No. I'm still, like freaked out by NO or KNOW, but we'll get there. But I do appreciate the sense of humor that he's got when he plays like the Bond music.
he called in the vent line
14,000 times.
and he had after our episode, and he had the James Bond Dr. No music going, or the James Bond theme while he left a message. And Ed, I'm sorry.
I liked it.
Man, I
liked it.
appreciate that level of comedy. I mean, that's the production value, dude. I'm a production value guy, and that's a vent line message with a soundtrack. Yeah, it's a Hall of Fame message.
I don't disagree with you that I liked it. I mean, it is what it is.
All right. So, on this topic of shooting, I was at the gym and I got a text from Jaybird.
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight, dude. I'm going to read this text to you because I asked him if I could read it. Okay.
Good old Jaybird.
Yeah, good old Jaybird. I'm going to keep back channeling with Dr. No.
Go help yourself.
Okay. Yeah, you never know what all right, listen, I got to find this thing from Jaybird. All right, here it is. He's directing it to you. Well, both of us, but specifically. He said this, Jaybird. One question I've been wanting to ask Ed is when he started throwing the dice, how long did it take him before he was comfortable with his throw and he was getting consistent results? I have been practicing since January, so not for too long, and I feel like I have gotten better, but the last few months, it seems like I have plateaued and am not progressing.
That's very common that you plateau at some point. Probably over a year. And I say maybe even 3 years, but it's not uncommon to plateau at a point, and you're going to get stuck at those points for a long time. Because I track a lot in the past, I tracked a lot of rows. I mean, thousands on the computer. And so what?
One question right now is like, what's his practice look like or consist of? Like how many throws? Because you throw a lot. Your rep count is through the roof. Because if I'm not mistaken, when we first started talking, you tell me you'd wake up and before you went to work, you'd throw and then you come back.
I would throw for 30 minutes in the morning and 2 hours at night for 3 years plus.
Okay. That's pretty huge. That's consistency.
Well, if you want to get good at it, you've got to practice. And you've got to work on your technique, and you're going to hit those times where you're like stuck. And when I say stuck, maybe your SRR your sevens to roll ratio is just same. And then eventually you're going to go from a 6 SRR, and all of a sudden you're going to look, oh, I'm at 6.5. And then you're working towards 7, 7.5. You're trying to get to 8. 8 to 10, you're doing really, really good. So that's kind of the ultimate goal, is get from 8 to 10, in my opinion.
It's just consistency, consistency, consistency with anything, learning anything. And even as a musician, to make jumps, I made jumps literally after 15 years of playing. And certain things, sometimes you just get complacent. And then when you're around someone, I started playing when we were traveling and went to, playing some festivals and went to Japan. We needed a drummer because our other drummer was actually off making ice cream every summer in Rhode Island or Massachusetts, right? So summer shows, we would get my friend Brendan. Brendan, he was Shakira's drummer. He's been in a lot of groups. One thing that he said,
I like Shakira
I know you do. I know you
a
do.
lot.
I was never a Shakira fan, dude.
I don't know if she sings or not, but I like Shakira.
You don't care.
I don't even
Yeah.
care. I
Listen, Ed,
don't even care.
this is the thing that he said, which I still think holds true when we were talking about practice. He approaches it every time he plays. It's like the Olympics and he's going for the gold medal. That phrase just like clicked in my head and it changed how I practiced. And I would just practice, practice. That's why I love your phrase, because I would practice like it's the fucking Olympics. And I was getting a gold medal and I did not want to make any mistakes, so that when I was done with a show, I know I missed this note, I missed this, and I missed this. And it's the same thing when I carry over to throwing dice or anything else. You really have to focus and be in it to be good at anything and to get these jumps. So maybe he's not throwing enough.
He hasn't thrown long enough. He said 6 months.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, he's got to just give it time, grasshopper. Right, Ed?
Yeah. Weed hopper, you got to keep going, right? You just got to keep going. And then all of a sudden, because here's the thing, I have flaws in my toss. Everybody has a flaw. Very few people throw a perfect toss virtually every time, right? So you've got to learn how to adjust your sets to give you a better advantage. I'm not going to say an advantage, but a better advantage. Reduce the house edge by maybe a fraction on how your toss works. And that's the hardest thing for people to understand, is that there are so many ways to set the dice, but there are, you think there's not many, but there's a lot. And as you mature in the game, not only can you start reading your throw, but when you read your throw, where you need to go with the next sets, and then you read those, right? So there's a lot of naysayers out there's more naysayers out there than there are believers. My job is not to convert them. I don't even give a flip. Okay. Yeah. Some DIs will say we should give a flip. We should care. We should try to improve everybody's game. But here's the problem. Nobody puts in the practice. Everybody wants the quick fix.
This is America, of course.
That's why strategy videos are so popular. That's one of the reasons Howard was so popular. He offered quick fixes to people who couldn't practice. And I played for Howard for years. But if you want to, you have to decide, do I want to be an off-axis player that's maybe 3 out of 5 times going to get a decent hand? Or do I want to be a guy that can bet, like Dr. No said, on 3 or 4 numbers, hit those numbers, make my money back, and then if the hand develops and continues, then press onward and upward, right? So that's where you come into that situation of, where am I in this game and where am I with whatever talent I have at this point? And your talent will waver.
Yeah.
It will waver. You will get into a rut where all of a sudden you couldn't throw 2 peas through a barn door. You're laughing.
Man, it's only 6 months. 6 months is nothing.
It is nothing.
Little Jaybird, you're like a little baby hatchling in the nest,
Okay, little Jaybird.
You have a long road to go, man.
Come back in a year and a half and let's see where you're at.
You know what, Ed, when I first started playing bass guitar, 6 months, I stayed in my dorm room and without an amplifier. And all I did was learn how to press down the notes over and over and over again. And I'd just go 1, 2, 3, 4, down a string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then reverse it and then slide down to the next fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then I would do every single finger position. Well, I do a 1, 4, I do a 1, 1, 3, I do a 1, 2, I do it starting backwards. 6 months just so that I would have that memory. A lot of it is just,
I used to play bass a little bit.
yeah, I slung my bass.
A little bit.
Yeah, I listen. Did you wear your bass up high? Because I slung my bass so low, dude, like a gorilla. That's how it was like hanging on the floor. It looked cool. Yep.
I didn't care about looking cool.
I was scared
I just
about.
want to make sure I hit the right.
Listen, yeah, but
The
you
right
will hit the
progression.
right note. See, that's the whole theory behind this. Is that when I would had a show, I would rehearse this even on a treadmill. I'd have this music playing and I'd play it in my hand. I'd have those notes going. When I'd go to sleep, I'd visualize it with the hopes being that when you're on stage and playing, if for some reason your brain like turns off or there's a distraction, you will automatically, your body will go to that note regardless because you're already like programming those movements. It would be the same thing with throwing dice. The repetition of thousands of tosses will get this to a point where it's perfect. And by the way, I'm also going to say, as Bo would say, it does not matter what it looks like, right? It only matters the results you're getting.
They only pay on the top numbers, dude.
Yeah.
They only pay on the or take away on the top number, whatever's showing.
Jaybird also asked me to clarify something, which I was like, I liked it. He remember, and you laughed at it when I said it, Ed. The 10-4 good buddy. Remember when I said the 10-4 good buddy? That was one of my moves that I labeled.
Yeah.
Do you remember
yeah.
it? Okay, want me to tell you what the 10-4 good buddy? He just asked for a clarification on it.
Yeah, let's just go. You go ahead. I'll listen.
Okay, have a
I'll
drink.
have a drink.
The 10-4 good buddy. Let's say I have 50 on the 4 and 10. All right, which is the lowest I usually have on that number. One of them hits, and then I press up both 4 and 10. So just pressing up the sister number, 4 and 10 to 100, right? So first hit, now I'm at 100 on both numbers. That's the 10-4 good buddy. The next hit, then he asked me this about the fact that I do regress, which is surprising. It's more or less a power regression. If either one of those hits, let's say that 4 hits, and then we're at 100 on the 10 and 4. Now the 10 hits, it's going to pay 200. I'm actually going to take down at least, I'm going to take 250 off. Again, this is the beginning of the roll because I'm always wanting to rack and get above water. But now all of a sudden I've got 250 in my rack. I'm back. Sometimes I'll even go down to 25s on both numbers. So now I'll have 350 in my rack.
10-4, good buddy.
Yeah, 10-4, good buddy, man.
I like the 410 as a shotgun gauge too.
Yeah,
But
I kind of like that name though. 10-4, good buddy.
well, 10-4, good buddy is a reduction. You said you reduce, right?
It's almost like I need to come up with a term. It's like a power reduction. I'll reduce it below the original.
I'm almost hesitant to say this.
Go ahead, do it.
I can't recall in the last 35 years any time when I have regressed a 4 or a 10.
I know. That's what makes me. There's a fine line between. Listen, some people would say that I'm a idiot.
Some people would say you're a genius.
Or an idiot
And then
savant.
some people will say I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Or we're both stupid ass dumbasses.
And it's
right?
very fine line between both of those. But Ed, what Jaybird was saying is that he was very interested in the fact, and this is what Bo said when we were playing, at his house. He was like, my first time I power pressed a 5. When I started with 100, I power pressed a 5
to 250. Yeah, I did a video on that tonight.
His words were, damn, you're fucking aggressive, 10-ton, right? Not in a complimentary way, okay?
Nah, it was a very derogatory coach way.
But a couple hits later, I'm pulling down 550 because it hit again, and I'm now regressing it down to 50 and put 550 in the rack. And he was like, I love that. Okay. So it is a power press and then a power regress.
Yeah. Well, I like the regression to 75.
Okay. Why?
50.
Why 75?
I want a black chip if I hit the sucker
Oh,
again,
okay.
dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
For
mean,
sure.
that's my regression always leaves me at least one black chip if I hit it again.
I can respect that.
I mean, because I want black chips and then I want purple chips and ultimately I want pumpkins
Yeah.
or canaries,
Yep. Or big
whatever.
birds. Yeah.
Big bird. I want some big birds.
Yeah.
If you go to the flamingo, you're gonna get big birds.
Ed, I forgot to mention something. I appreciate your use of the word "I don't give a flip." That's a good because I swear too much, dude. I put it on
I'm
Patreon.
trying not to because you do.
I swear so much. I tell you, I'm apologizing. Can I just apologize? I'm apologizing to everyone listening to this. If they had kids on in the back, I'm sorry. I don't know why. It's a bad habit.
They should never play us with coming home with from
No.
school.
I swear too much. I'm apologizing. It's going to happen again, but I'll do my best to not.
I'll even say I don't give a flying flip.
I like that you say that. Maybe I'll Flip Wilson, dude. Remember that guy?
I remember Flip Wilson.
Flip
Yes.
Wilson. What was the show that he was on?
What did he say? What was his? Oh God, what was his tagline?
Flip Wilson. I don't even know the show. I just know that he was on something back then. Dr. No would know about Flip Wilson. I know he would because he's got every TV show reference. Dude, Flip Wilson. That's so funny.
I gotta look it up.
Was he on Laughing? What show was he on?
The Flip Wilson Show.
Oh, he had his own show?
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but I remember Flip Wilson, dude. What a name. Do you know anyone else named Flip?
No,
Ed?
and I really seriously doubt that was his name.
But that's still a good name. That's his handle. Flip was his handle.
Flip. The devil made me do it. That's what he always would say. Yeah. All right.
So Ed, what else, dude?
Terry's got to be on the front side. She's got to be on the front side of the show.
Of course.
So you're gonna play Terry's
message?
message.
Yes, I will play Terry's message right now.
Hello, Ed and Tintin. This is Terry, CBK's girlfriend. I wanted to start off saying I really love the podcast. I love the stories. But Tintin, you really need to watch Yellowstone. You will never look at a train station the same way again. I want to wish Ed and all who are going this weekend to the Brownwater Bash the best of luck. Ed, you will be getting some bourbon from me. Not sure how good the bourbon will be, but it dates back to the 1800s. I just love the name. So try it. If you don't like it, put it up on the shelf. The podcast is amazing. Can't wait to hear what's next. Thanks. Have a good evening and the best of luck. Thank you, Terry.
Terry, love you. I'm sorry that you hang out with the CBK guy because I mean she does. She hangs out with CBK, and I don't know why. Because he's the colorblind kid, but she is not blind at all.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, I haven't seen her with a like a dog or anything. But I'm going to tell her that the whiskey that she gave me at the Brownwater Bash is I've drank every drop.
Oh, what kind of whiskey was it? Do you remember?
I know the name of it. You want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me.
It's a funny name.
Please.
Chicken Cock.
What?
That was the name of the bourbon. Chicken Cock.
No way.
Yep.
Wow. I've never heard of that.
I've seen it in the store. I've never bought it. I've been afraid to buy it. She gave it to me.
You've been afraid to buy it? Why? Because of the name?
Yes, I was a little bit afraid to, but she gave me a bottle of Chicken Cock bourbon. And
was it good enough to write them? You should have had that bottle when we were recording. I want to see what that bottle looks like, dude. What's the label to that?
That bottle is gone. Google it. I'm just going to tell you, Google it.
I will. Yeah, well, she was also technically our second female caller, and that was nice of her to wish everyone luck.
And she was almost our first.
Almost.
A day or two late. I really, really like the fact that she enjoys, even though she's not really a connoisseur of the craps game, CBK loves to play craps. But I really appreciate the fact that Terry took the time to call, met her in Tunica. She didn't make it to the Brownwater Bash, but she sent me a bottle of bourbon, and I enjoyed every drop.
Oh, nice, man.
I really thank her for that.
That's nice. You get sent presents. I'll tell you a present that I got sent.
I got so many.
That's because you're an influencer, a dice
It's kind
influencer.
of like using a Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah, you are an influencer, a dice influencer.
I'm a bourbon influencer.
You know who sent me a birthday present, which I'm going to post a picture of on Patreon?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, Birdman. A belated birthday present. It's cool, man. He sent me this picture. I'll post it, but it's like of a craps table and it's framed and it's got all these like sort of the definitions and terms. It's pretty sweet. I'm hanging that thing up.
Speaking of craps tables, anything going on in the craps table world that we should know about?
Good segue, Ed. I like it. And the craps table world, if you've
I wasn't
noticed,
born. I wasn't
So-
born on a on a log.
the funniest thing, I'm like, hey, Ed, yeah, I posted it on Patreon.
I saw that.
And then some of the posts you can't see because you're not signed up to our Patreon, which is fucking hilarious. All right. You
I don't
can't
have
see.
time.
Oh
I have
my
too much
God.
going on in my life already.
So the craps table, first of all, I posted the felt and it looks amazing, man. I posted a video.
It took, ladies and gentlemen, it took him 14 weeks and 50,000 modifications to come up with the final.
Yeah, but you know what? Chef's kiss, man. That thing looks beautiful. It does. You know it does.
I know. I've seen it.
I can't wait because it's got the repeater and the ATS on it, man. Thing's a beast. And crapless. It's got everything you need, man. I mean, I think people are going to be jealous of this.
And the world bet. It's got the world bet, and it's got our critter
as our logo.
It's got our craps critter logo as the world bet.
I think it looks sweet, and I'm ordering, or maybe I talked to Kelly, and it's impossible to find repeater lammers to cover them. I don't know where the casinos get them. You can't find them.
Well, I mean, that is a trademark kind of a thing.
So if anyone knows where to get them, otherwise we're just going to make them.
Yeah, I think they come with a layout when you buy it from the official guy who gets a percentage. Screw that.
Yeah. I wonder who invented that.
I don't know, but if we could come up with a good side bet, we could make our own bet and then sell it to the casinos and get a percentage.
Oh man, wouldn't that be amazing?
That's how that works. That's why they went from the all tall small to the little ones, big ones, all of them or something. I don't know what they call it.
Oh, I was next to a guy when I was at Planet Hollywood, and he was telling me like in Blackhawk that it's still 175 to 1 there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Thank you for telling everyone about our honey hole.
About our what?
The honey hole.
The honey hole in Blackhawk?
I love Blackhawk. I love playing in Blackhawk. I would go back there before I'd go to Vegas.
Well, why don't you go to Blackhawk, schedule that trip, and then Vegas is close.
Well, you can fly from Denver to Vegas as a short trip.
I'm here. Speaking of which, Ed, maybe you could make it. So I've decided that we're going to have the first official Casino Tiers meetup whenever you can get out here. That'll be the first one. Don't know when that'll be.
We can't announce that to the public.
What do you mean? We just did. We announced everything to the public. But there's no date. But that's going to be the first one.
So everybody's got to continuously go to Las Vegas to see if I'm there.
No. We'll announce that.
No date.
But what I'm thinking is because I'm here all the time, I think I should have the unofficial Casino Tiers meetup like once every season, like spring, fall, winter, summer. And then we'll have the official yearly
Do seasons change in Las Vegas?
Yeah, they do. It gets cold out here, man. It gets really cold out here.
And hot.
In the winter. Yes, and really hot. So
yeah, you have summer and winter there.
Kind of. But dude, listen.
We have 2 seasons.
Well, whatever. We'll have but since so many people you can never coordinate different times, why don't we just have like one every season? And then whatever one you make during the year, that's the official one for the year.
Well, if we're gonna do those, I'll make more than one.
You have 4 times to make it, so that's what we'll do. Give you an excuse, to come out here more. So, but that's what we're gonna do. And then because a lot of times people won't be able to get out there in the fall, or maybe they just come out in the summer. So maybe it'll give more opportunities for the Casino Tiers crew to hang out and go make a lot of money.
You've never experienced a meetup like that.
No, I have not. But I'm meeting up anyway with people that come into town.
You're meeting up
anyway.
with people that come to Vegas for recreation and gambling.
Yeah. Which you just multiply it by a little more, right? And then that's
A
a
lot.
then that's considered the a meetup.
Can we get 60 to show up?
Dude, I don't think so. Not right now. I don't think we can get maybe 6. Let's shoot for 6.
I'm guarantee you.
If we did it once a year, maybe, but let's do it let's keep it loose, fast and loose, man.
Most of those people get cheap tickets to Vegas. Not me, but I mean,
Well, I think that's what we should do, man. Because you never know. You never know. Oh, by the way, remember I was talking about Moonshine Melvin?
Moonshine Melvin from the
He needs your
yes
address because he's going to send over one of those elk chips.
moonshine. You gonna send me some moonshine? I want
I don't know,
moonshine.
maybe, but
I want moonshine from his state.
Idaho. It's Idaho.
I've never had Idahoan. Is that how you say it? Idahoan moonshine.
Yeah, he's in Coeur d'Alene.
Give him. You've got my address. Give him my address.
I will give him your address. I didn't have it like when he asked me, but I got Wisco's chip right here, man.
I don't even have a Wisco chip.
Wisco.
Mr. Wisconsin.
It says Wisco 330, and then on the back it says Dice Out. I like that. Dice Out.
Dice out.
Yeah, but I got one of his chips, and so I'll get the elk chip. That'll be sweet. All right. It reminds me, man, I got a couple other things to tell you. Speaking of the table, I had a call today with the dice maker.
We're continuing with the manufacture and eventual process of us having our own official Casino Tiers.
We are
dice.
close, Ed. Do you want to know the breakdown of the colors that we're getting?
I do want to know because everyone else wants to know.
A full-length extended version of this podcast is available exclusively on our Patreon page. New episodes drop weekly every Tuesday. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and will tell all of your fellow craps-playing friends about it. Please follow Casino Tiers on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. If you like the show, please rate it 5 stars and leave a review. The best and most fun way to contact us would be to call and leave a message on our official Casino Tiers vent line, 229-NO7. You can also email us at no7@casinotiers.com. New episodes drop weekly every Tuesday. And lastly, to help support this podcast, you can visit our Patreon at patreon.com/casinotiers. On behalf of Roll to Win Craps from Alabama and 10 Ton is #1 from Las Vegas, thanks for listening.